Yo, what's up guys? Insane Game Freak here to bring you Pokemon Best Wishes episode 43 review. Oh, you're probably wondering why I'm using the good camera and I'm standing up. I actually have a lot of things to say. Now I just marathoned 43 and 44, and the reason why I marathoned it is because 43, it seems like on anime44.com, it's like this really fucked up thing where they think 43 is 42. And it's really fucking annoying, and there's like certain sites that have it as 43. So, but I found it as 43, and then I went and watched 44. So 43, if shit gets mixed into each other, I apologize, but because I'm gonna probably do these videos one after each other. So here we go. 43 starts off where 42 left off, which is the end of the Snivy Pawniard fight. I'm trying to use the English name, so God help me. So, after that, pretty much Snivy beats the shit out of Pawniard. I mean, for God's sakes, the next episode is actually called Ash vs. Iris. So you knew for a fact that Ash won. Like, there was no doubt in my mind he wasn't going to win that. He won that in a nice way, and I was glad they got Snivy some airtime. The next match is Luke versus Silent. Yeah, I am trying to use English names, so I'm probably not going to keep this up, but we'll see. And it's Stunfisk versus Larvita, and to honestly say, it was a good match. And the one thing that keeps getting reiterated with Dent's fights or Silence fights, I just like calling him Dent. I don't know why. I prefer his Japanese name. The one thing about Dent's fights I really enjoy is the fact that he doesn't do what Brock did, where Brock kind of just went, oh, I'm a breeder now, and seem to lose like every sense of like gym leader pride literally, no one can tell me that Brock felt like a gym leader after a little while, because he stopped acting like a gym leader a while ago. Whereas with Silent or Jen, I'm just keep fucking doing that. In this entire battlefield, he's still helping Luke out as a fellow trainer and acting like if he's still a gym leader, and still like coaching him through the fight. And I also like the fact that it's not just a traditional fight. For anyone who wants to know, the Pokemon that Luke uses is Larvista, and it's a fire bug type, which I did not know that. I think it's because I've been kind of 5th gen Pokemon, some of them I kind of pay attention to more than others. And anyways, I was actually surprised that Stunfisk actually lasted as long as it did. For anyone who wants to know, Luke won that match, but it kind of felt like Silent and Dent was like coaching him to win the match. And I also like the creative ways in the tournament they've been using the moves so far. Like, for once, we finally got to see Rock Slide used in a weird setting by Dwebble in the last episode. In this episode, we get to see String Shot used effectively as a shield. Because technically Luke kind of copies Dent when Dent does it, because he gets him with String Shot, and he uses String Shot as a defense for Flamethrower, even though he's a water type, so it wasn't like Stunfisk was going to lose any major HP off of that. And then, on top of that, fucking Larvista uses it on itself and uses it as a shield for Scald, and then uses Mudshot and breaks it out of it as a fucking propeller so he can get off Flamethrower in midair, and Stunfisk gets his ass whooped. This all seems like a lot of mismatches, like, where it seems like a lot of mismatches are in this fight, and there's a lot of luck-based shit anyway. But yeah, Luke wins that fight. And then you cut over, and I think the last fight of the episode is essentially Iris versus Kingyan, and I really like this fight. And Kingyan is becoming one of those characters that I actually do enjoy as a character. I just heard his English dub voice because we just got to the use fucking water gun episode in the dub, and I'm not really a huge fan of his dub voice because he sounds weird as shit, and they call him Stefan instead of Kingyan. Like, it's like Stefan, his name is Stefan, but the joke in the English dub, instead of Stefan, it's like Stefan. And I'm like, really? Stefan? Really? We're going to call Kingyan Stefan? I don't understand why not using the name Kingyan, but Stefan? Really? His English dub name is Stefan. And the first thing I was thinking was Family Matters Steve Urkel. I was like, what the fuck? Really? But anyways, it's like my favorite fighting type in the game in Gen 5, Sock versus Emolga. And I'm actually this is another fight where it's another fight that comes up with a theme for like the rest of this tournament, where it seems like a lot of luck shit seems to, like, they're throwing in more luck-based shit in the goddamn anime. They're also showing off other moves because the track was barely used in the other regions. So I'm actually surprised it's becoming somewhat of a main thing around here. But anyways, that match was actually pretty good because it kind of shows Iris' development as a trainer, and it also shows that Kenyon isn't just a dude with a fucking zebra. Because Sokka's one of my favorite fighting types, so he automatically gained points for that. I also like the way that they tried to have Imoga. Imoga was limited to like 2 moves, and that was fucking Hidden Power and a track, because it couldn't use Volt Switch because it would actually switch out, and you're not allowed to do that. So it was kind of screwed. Like, if it was going to use Volt Switch, it could only like use it once. It could use it to end the match, because if it didn't end the match, it was fucked. And he uses a track, and instead of just having a dodge like I would figure, we finally got to see close combat used by an actual fighting type. Because if anyone doesn't realize, last gen we only saw Staraptor use close combat, I believe, and as a bird that just seemed weird. But we actually saw a fighting type using it. It actually looked cool as shit, because he's sitting there breaking all the hearts like this, like a boss. And I was like, that's how we do it, sir. That's how we do it. But anyways, and the reason why I say the luck-based shit comes in here, because technically Iris is getting her ass whooped until Static gets off. And even still, but even when Static gets off, it isn't like an automatic win after that point. It's still a match, because even if Static got off, it's like, it's still trying to use a track, and it's still taking that shit down with close combat. What kills it is eventually when Static does come into effect. Like, he gets paralyzed, but it doesn't come into effect until like somewhere in the middle of him using close combat to fight out a track barrage. And then you're probably thinking, oh, well, she used the track and turned him in love and then kicked his ass with the Empire. No, she just beat his ass with Volt Switch. Just hit him with Volt Switch, and that nigga was down. And that's essentially, the next episode we're gonna start off where Ash. Well, no, I'm gonna say the episode ends with Ash in his semi-final match, and then we know that Iris is going to fight Luke. And we already know Luke is going to lose from the next episode's title, Ash versus Iris, plus that I've seen the fucking episode. But all in all, it was a good episode. The one thing I do hate, no. I'll say that for episode 44. But there's one thing about this tournament I really hate, and one character got fucked over, because the one thing, episode 44 doesn't really show that much development. I mean, not episode 43 didn't show that much development, but episode 44 shows a lot of development with a lot of characters, except for like, and even the one character that's been pissing me off, Belle has been pissing me off this entire fucking tournament so far. Until episode 44, she gets kind of evened out. But like every episode before that, she's just like fucking annoying. She's even annoying in episode 44. But she's less annoying in episode 44. Because she's been on this whole, I'm gonna catch Zora shtick. And I'm like, why don't you just fucking stop it and let her actually be a character? Because she was fine when episodes aren't focused on her. And then, she was a normal, fine, chilled out character. But then you bring her back like this with this whole Zora obsession and trying to steal it away from fucking Luke. And I'm like, are you shitting me? Why do that? You're just making, you're ruining her character. I feel like that was the biggest annoyance. I will say right now, in the entire tournament, that was the biggest annoyance is Bianca. Because it was like, God damn it, you could have had her be so much of a better character. But I think they just wanted to have like filler moments in there, and I don't mind that, but you ruined Bianca because of it, and it was like, fuck you. It really was. It was like a big fuck you. Because she's the only character I can say barely gets like no development whatsoever. Her and Langley, but Langley was a little less annoying, like she became more of a rival character, I say, through the course of the tournament. But I'm getting into episode 44 territory. So that is a review. Tell me what you guys thought about the episode. Life's a game, play to win, gotta catch them all. And I guess I'll see you guys later. Peace out.